네, 오늘은 누구의 이야기를 들어볼 시간인가요?
So today we have a clip sent to us from Rachel from the USA.
Alright, 레이첼 씨는 어떤 좋은 습관을 가지고 있을지 궁금한데요. 아까 잠깐 소개했던 그 뉴스와 관련이 있습니다. 한번 이야기를 들어보시고 어느 정도나 몇 %나 완전하게 이해가 되는지 혹시 잘 안 들리는 부분은 없는지 확인해 보시면 좋겠습니다.
Alright, sounds good. Let's call her out. Rachel 씨,
나와주세요.
A good habit that I have is always reading the news every day. I developed this habit in college, mostly because I was an international studies major, and so I had to keep up with current events, and I was also really interested in that anyway. And I've just continued even after college, reading the news every day. I have subscriptions to magazines, subscription to things like the New York Times, and I think it's really important to read the news every day and keep up with it, like using real sources and not just Facebook, because I think a lot of people in my generation just get their news from social media, and I think that can be a dangerous thing if you're not also reading the news from the primary sources. So yeah, that's a good habit that I have.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a great habit.
I definitely agree with that because on social media, sometimes the news is not reliable, right?
Not reliable.
It's not right.
네, 가끔은 not reliable at all 할 때도 있어요.
Yeah,
네, 뭐
it's totally fake.
맞아요. 과장이 되거나 가짜로 만들어지거나 장난으로 만든 뉴스들도
Yeah.
많이 소셜미디어에는 돌아다니기 때문에 저도 소셜미디어에서 뉴스를 많이 접하지만 I do get a lot of my news from social media. But sometimes I check, like, what's the source?
Yeah,
출처가 어디지? 이렇게
Right.
봐야 되는 것 같아요.
yeah.
Alright, so
Okay.
let's find out what Rachel said. 레이첼 씨가 어떤 이야기 했는지 한 줄 한 줄 공부해 보겠습니다.
All right. She said, a good habit that I have is always reading the news every day. A good habit that I have is always reading the news every day.
네, a good habit that I have. 제가 가지고 있는 좋은 습관 하나는이니까 So she doesn't only have one good habit.
Right. So it's one habit out of many.
네.
Right.
그래서
She has many.
맞아요. One of the good habits I have라고 했어도 똑같은 말이 됐겠죠. Always reading the news every day. Every day. 항상 매일, 날마다, 매일매일 뉴스를 읽는다고 합니다. So, okay. A good habit that I have is 동사 ing 형태로 여러분도 적용해 보시면 좋겠죠?
All right. In the next sentence, she says a part of it a little bit fast. So let's watch the clip.
I developed this habit in college, mostly because I was an international studies major. I developed this habit in college, mostly because I was an international studies major.
Okay. So let's take a look at the sentence and I will read it for you.
All right.
She said, I developed this habit in college mostly because I was an international studies major.
네. 이 부분, 딱 중간에 나오는 부분이
Right.
mostly because가 아주 빨랐어요.
Yeah. Mostly because.
네.
Mostly because.
여러분, most, 대부분이라고 할 때 most 이렇게 발음하는 것이
Right.
맞는데 빠르게 발음하다 보면은 most도 약간 must.
Yeah, it sounds
Yeah.
like mostly.
Yeah.
Like if you take out the T, like mostly, mostly.
네. 그리고
Mostly.
모우 자체도 짧아져요. 그래서 더 듣기가 어려웠고요. mostly because. 전체 문장은 I developed this habit. 이 습관을 만들었습니다. 또는 이 습관이 생겼습니다. 어디에서? In college, in university 똑같은 말이죠. Mostly because 그런데 이유의 대부분은 뭐냐면 I was an international studies major. International studies 국제학이죠. 그리고 she was a major. I thought majors were just the subjects.
No. If you are in a major, you can say, oh, I'm a psychology major.
맞아요.
Right? So you are the major in that case.
그렇죠.
Even though you have that major.
네.
That
그래서
makes sense.
major가 뭐 주요한, major, minor 이렇게 쓸 때도
Yeah.
있고 major가 전공이라는 뜻이지만 대학교에서 전공을 하는 사람, 전공자를 가리킬 수도 있어요.
Right. So instead of saying what's your major, a lot of times people will be like, oh, you know, what are you? Kind of.
What
Instead
are
of
you?
saying what is your major, some
네.
people will ask that.
맞아요. 그리고 그 질문에 대해서 I'm an English literature major.
Yeah.
I'm a science major. 이렇게 이야기를 하기도 합니다. major가 사람을 가리킬 때는 전공자죠. 그래서 제가 국제학 전공이었던 또는 전공자였던 것이 큰 또는 대부분의 원인이라고 했네요.
All right, let's take a look at this two more times. Pay attention to mostly. Let's watch.
I developed this habit in college, mostly because I was an international studies major. I developed this habit in college, mostly because I was an international studies major.
So I had to keep up with current events. So I had to keep up with current events.
International Studies major였기 때문에 그래서 so I had to keep up with current events. 오늘의 핵심 문장이 여기 들어가 있죠. Keep up with something. 계속해서 알고 지내는 건데 current events, 최근 시사 뉴스죠.
Right. So the news that's happening these days.
Or
basically.
currently.
Currently, right.
네. Currently라고 하면 최근에라는 말이죠. 또는 현재. My current job is blah blah blah. My current 뭐가 있을까요? Place.
My current place or, you know, anything. Or you can say I'm currently teaching English on EBSC 생활영어.
맞아요.
Yeah.
그래서 지금 하고 있는 일은이라고 할 때 my current job is, my current place is small, my current place is too big. 지금 살고 있는 곳이죠. place라고 하면.
Or anything. My current car, my current, you know, pet. Anything can be current.
네, 그래서 지금 현재 사용하고 있는 것 또는 살고 있는 곳, 하고 있는 일, 지금 가지고 있는 무언가, 애완동물도
Or
current.
boyfriend. My current boyfriend.
네,
Like
다
that.
현재에 적용되는 것은 다 current라고 할 수 있습니다. 네, 그래서 시사 뉴스를 알고 있어야 된다. 다음 문장 가볼까요?
Yep. And first we have to take a look at the clip. So let's watch.
And I was also really interested in that anyway. And I was also really interested in that anyway.
All right.
네, 빨랐죠?
Yes, so let me go ahead and read what she said. Okay. And I was also really interested in that anyway.
Yes. In that 이 부분이 특히 이제 in that이라기보다는 in that,
In that.
in
In
that,
that. In that.
네, in that처럼 발음이 되는데요. 여기에서 I was also really interested in that. 여기서 that이라는 것은
Current event.
맞아요.
Yeah.
뉴스를 보는
Right.
것이 관심이 있었다라는 거죠. 그 다음에 맨 마지막에 anyway라는 거는 이야기하다가 anyway 갑자기 할 말 없을 때 when you have nothing else to say you can say okay anyway.
Anyway, yeah.
아무튼이라고 말을 돌릴 때도 쓸 수 있는 말이긴 하지만
Right.
여기에선 좀 다르죠.
Right. So she's saying, you know, I have to do this, but I like it anyway. She's just letting you know that, you know, she likes it already.
맞아요.
Even before having to do it.
그렇죠.
Right.
어차피라는 말이 되는
Right.
거죠. 어차피. 그래서 해야 되는 일이긴 한데 숙제이긴 한데 어차피 좋아하는 일이야.
Yeah.
뭐 나 이거 어차피 하려고 했어.
Yeah.
뭐 일주일에 5번 운동해야 되는데 나 어차피 거기 살아.
Yeah. I like it anyway.
네.
I basically live in the gym.
맞아요.
Yeah.
네, 거기 살다시피 해.
Yeah.
이렇게 말할 때 anyway 어차피 뭐뭐 하는 중이야. 뭐 전화해서 혹시 커피 사다 줄까요?라고 했는데 친구가 귀찮게 가지 마. I'm in the convenience store anyway. 나 지금 어차피
Yeah.
와 있어.
Yeah, I'm
Just
here.
tell
So,
me.
so I'll buy it for you.
Yeah. Or you pay me later.
Oh, that's no. You can just buy it for me.
오케이. 이렇게 말할 수 있겠죠? 자, 그럼 이 부분에 in that 잘 들리는지 확인해 보겠습니다.
And I was also really interested in that anyway. And I was also really interested in that anyway.
Again, really, really fast, right?
Yeah, she's
진짜,
really fast.
정말 빨랐지만 여러분도 연습하시면 할 수 있습니다.
That's right. You can
오케이.
do it.
다음 문장.
Yeah. So then she said, and I've just continued even after college reading the news every day. And I've just continued even after college reading the news every day.
사실 이 문장도 클립을 다시 보면 좋겠다라고 거의 생각할 뻔했던 게 even이 아주 짧았어요. even 정말
Even after college.
even after 이런 식으로 정말로
Right.
그냥 뭔가 소리인 것처럼 말이 아니라
Yeah.
이렇게 지나갔는데 and I've just continued reading the news every day. 계속해서 뉴스를 매일 읽었습니다. 이런 말인데 중간에 even after college. even after college가 들어간 이유는 대학교 때는 전공 때문에
Right.
she was also interested in that anyway.
Right.
어차피 관심이 있었고.
Yeah. So then she just continued because she liked it anyway.
네, 좋아했기 때문에 대학을 졸업하고 나서도 even after college, in other words, even after she graduated from college, 대학을 졸업하고도 뉴스를 매일 읽었대요. Wow, she must know a lot about what happened in the world, has happened in the world in the past few years.
That's awesome. I think I need to make a habit of checking the news daily.
Yeah. Maybe not 10 times a day.
No.
Just
Just
once a day.
maybe in the morning.
네,
All right.
that's a good idea.
I'm gonna do that.
Then
Thank you, Rachel, for that
I'll-
motivation.
I'll just call you and what's up in the world?
Oh,
Okay,
I
anyway.
won't answer.
All right. The next line.
Okay. I have subscriptions to magazines, subscriptions to things like the New York Times. I have subscriptions to magazines, subscription to things like the New York Times.
네. 발음하기 좀 어려운 단어가 나왔네요. Subscription.
Subscriptions.
Subscription.
Subscription.
끊어서 발음하면 좀 더 쉽습니다. Subscription.
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 You're doing very well.
Thank you. Subscription. 네, 계속하면 실수가 한 번 나올 것 같아요. I have subscriptions to magazines. 잡지들을 구독하고 있고요. Subscription to things like the New York Times. 뉴욕 타임즈와 같은 것들에도 구독을 하고 있다. So she's not only reading the New York Times, she's reading something else
Yes,
too.
some online magazines. I don't even know many online news magazines.
요즘에 뭐 신문사 알려진 신문사는 다 온라인으로
Really?
구독
Okay.
서비스를 하더라고요.
All right, I'm going to find them.
오케이. 그래서 그것들도 읽는다라는 이야기죠.
Right. And
Yeah.
next. And I think it's really important to read the news every day and keep up with it.
That's right.
And I think it's really important to read the news every day and keep up with it.
네, 그리고 I think it's really important to read the news every day. 여기까지는 뭐 어려운 말이 없어요.
Right.
저는 매일 뉴스를 읽는 것이 중요하다고 생각합니다. 그리고 keep up with it. 여기서 말하는 it 뭐죠?
Keep
it.
up with it is reading the news or with current events.
맞아요.
Yeah.
지금 그 뉴스 내용이죠. The content of the news. 그래서 keep up with it. 그 소식을 알고 있는 것이 정말 중요하다고 생각합니다. I think she's talking about her opinion.
She is.
Yes.
All right. And next she says, like using real sources and not just Facebook. Like using real sources and not just Facebook.
그냥 페이스북이 아니라 진짜 자료 출처를 이용해서 말이에요 라고 하는데 이게 이제 중요한 그 메시지인 거죠. 사실 레이첼 씨가 하고 싶은 말 중에서.
I think so.
Yeah.
These days, I use social media to find out if something happened.
Yeah.
Because people will post, I can't believe what happened. And then you're like, what? What? So then that's what makes me look at the news.
그렇죠.
Because I've seen people angry on social media or
That's
something.
right.
Yeah.
And people also like to share what they like
yeah.
and also what they are angry about. So there aren't that many neutral articles that are being shared.
Yeah, it's always opinionated. It's like,
맞아요.
I think this and blah, blah, blah.
네.
So I feel like if you only read that, you'll be very biased.
그렇죠.
You'll think like that person instead of thinking for yourself.
네,
Yeah.
그런 이야기를 하고 있는 거예요. 사실은
Yeah.
소셜미디어에서 사람들이 공유하는 소식들은 자신이 정말 좋아하거나 아니면 화가 난 내용에 대해서
Yeah.
공유를 하는데 중립적인 내용을 또 다른 데서도 알아봐야 you can see the whole big picture, 전체 그림을 알 수 있잖아요. 그런 이야기가 이제 real sources라는 거죠. 뭐 소셜미디어가 fake sources라는 것은 아니겠고요.
Right. It's just not reliable,
Yeah.
I would say.
Okay.
And then next she says, because I think a lot of people in my generation just get their news from social media. Because I think a lot of people in my generation just get their news from social media.
네, 왜냐하면 I think 뭐 이하의 내용을 생각하는 거죠. A lot of people in my generation 여기도 좋은 표현이에요. People in my generation, people in our
Our
generation.
generation, people in
같은-
your generation. Because, you know, we're different generations, I
너무
think.
이렇게 구별하지 마세요. I think we're 10 years apart. Right?
Something like
yeah,
that,
like
yeah.
10 or 9 years apart.
Yeah.
이제 9년, 10년 정도 차이가 나는데 같은 세대라고 봤을 때 in our
Our
generation
generation.
또는 in your generation,
In your
in
generation.
my generation. 그래서 우리 세대 사람들이라고 할 때 이런 말을 하고 우리 세대의 people of my generation도 가능하지만 보통 이제 소속되어
yeah.
있는 in을 씁니다.
Yeah.
영어에서는 이렇게 of도 말 되고 in도 말 되는 것 같은데 논리적으로 logically both make sense.
Yeah.
But what do people use more?
In.
네,
In
그렇죠.
this case.
사람들이 더 많이 쓰는 게 무엇인지 알아내는 과정 자체가
Yeah.
결국은 독서이고 결국은 이렇게 이야기를 많이 접하는 거예요. So you have to spend time. 그래서 우리 세대의 사람들이 just get their news from social media. 그냥 소셜 미디어에서만 뉴스를 접하는 경우가 많은데
And I think that can be a dangerous thing.
Yeah.
And I think that can be a dangerous thing.
그리고 저는 그게 can be a dangerous thing. 위험한 것이 될 수 있다고
Yeah.
생각해요라고 합니다. Can be a dangerous thing. She doesn't say it is a dangerous thing.
No, because it's not necessarily, but it can be
네.
in some way or in some cases.
그렇죠.
Right.
위험할 수 있다. There is
Right.
a risk.
There's a possibility.
Okay.
Yeah. Next, she says, if you're not also reading the news from the primary sources, if you're not also reading the news from the primary sources.
뉴스를 여기서 중요합니다. Also reading. also를 빼면 if you're not reading the news from the primary sources, primary라는 것은 1차죠. So the news outlets, the media, they
Right.
produce the news.
The news,
first.
right? The actual content,
네,
the
그런-
unbiased news.
그렇죠. 그런
right?
다음에 sometimes they're biased too.
Oh, that's true.
네, 그런데 이제 그것들이 가공돼서 여기저기 퍼가겠죠, 사람들이 가공한 것을. 그런데 그것도 읽고 also reading the news from the primary sources. 이것도 읽고 이것도 읽어야 된다. 이 두 가지 다 읽어야 된다는 이야기가 이 문장에 들어있어요. also 때문에.
Yeah.
Right?
So, yeah, very good.
Okay.
Let's move on to the final one. And that's, so yeah, that's a good habit that I have. So yeah, that's a good habit that I have.
네. So yeah, 이것은 이야기를 마무리할 때 많이 쓰는 말이죠.
Yeah, it's not like really saying, so yeah. It's just what we say as a filler to end something.
그렇죠. 결론을 내리면서 뭐 일상 대화에서 Okay, so my conclusion is 제 결론은 이겁니다라고 말하는 사람은 거의 없어요. 아예 없어요. 그냥
Yeah.
So yeah, 그랬다고 뭐 이야기를 끝낼 때.
So yeah, that's what I think.
네.
So
그래서
yeah, that's my opinion.
그게 제가 가진 좋은 습관입니다라고 이야기를 마무리하고 있습니다.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is it for her story. Let's take a look at it 2 more times. The first time with English subtitles, the second time without. Let's watch.
A good habit that I have is always reading the news every day. I developed this habit in college, mostly because I was an international studies major, and so I had to keep up with current events, and I was also really interested in that anyway. And I've just continued even after college reading the news every day. I have subscriptions to magazines, subscription to things like the New York Times, and I think it's really important to read the news every day and keep up with it, like using real sources and not just Facebook, because I think a lot of people in my generation just get their news from social media, and I think that can be a dangerous thing if you're not also reading the news from the primary sources. So yeah, that's a good habit that I have. A good habit that I have is always reading the news every day. I developed this habit in college, mostly because I was an international studies major, and so I had to keep up with current events, and I was also really interested in that anyway. And I've just continued even after college reading the news every day. I have subscriptions to magazines, subscription to things like the New York Times, and I think it's really important to read the news every day and keep up with it, like using real sources and not just Facebook, because I think a lot of people in my generation just get their news from social media, and I think that can be a dangerous thing if you're not also reading the news from the primary sources. So yeah, that's a good habit that I have.
Well, she also looks a bit, I think she got a little bit of a sunburn.
Maybe.
I think
I
she
think
was
she definitely got sunburned.
outside for a little while.
Maybe she doesn't have the habit of putting on sunscreen.
Oh yeah, that can be a new habit.
A new habit for
레이첼.
her.
네, 레이첼 씨가 이제 좀 빨갛게 타서 그 선크림을 바르는 습관을 들이면 좋겠다 이런 이야기를
Yes.
해봤습니다. We'll tell her
Okay.
in person. 자, 그리고 레이첼 씨가 이야기해준 것 중에서 재미있는 말이 나왔었거든요. 그 관련해서 또 공부해 보겠습니다.
It's time for Street Smart.